She built their empire. They stole it, but they never saw what she was building next. The room smelled like roasted lies and expensive perfume. The chandelier above flickered, scattering fractured light across the dining table, a table set not for family, but for execution. Amara sat still, her father at the head, her brother beside him, both silent, their smiles rehearsed. Her hands trembled beneath the tablecloth, clutching the resignation letter she hadn't yet read aloud. She had built their family business from nothing, and tonight they were taking it from her. "Sign it," her brother said, pushing the document toward her. Her father's voice was low, steady, the kind that didn't beg, only commanded. "It's time to move on, Amara. We'll handle things from here." The air tightened. Her breath caught. A faint metallic taste filled her mouth, the flavor of betrayal. Amara never planned to be an heir. She planned to be useful. From a small garage office with flickering bulbs, she turned her father's modest trading company into a multi-million-dollar logistics empire. She was the strategist, the one who understood that numbers could lie, but trends never did. Late nights, coffee-stained reports, the hum of old computers became her soundtrack. Her father would pat her shoulder and say, "You're my right hand." Her brother Zion would smirk, "You mean his calculator." But then came the new investor, Rami Talbot, a charming man with immaculate suits and a smile that could open vaults. He promised expansion, a new digital frontier, merging logistics with crypto-backed trade financing. Amara saw potential. Her father saw dollar signs. Within months, they tripled their revenue on paper. But Amara noticed something. Rami's numbers didn't add up. Profits were inflated, invoices duplicated. When she confronted him, he laughed. "It's all temporary market confidence, my dear." That was the first time she realized confidence was just another word for illusion. Amara didn't know it yet, but the meeting that sealed her downfall had already been held without her. Her father and brother had secretly signed over her shares, using forged authorization. When she questioned the transaction, Rami's firm leaked confidential emails implying she had siphoned company funds into offshore wallets. Her credibility gone overnight. The board called it mismanagement. The press called it greed. Her family called it necessary. The night before the dinner, she sat in her car outside the company tower, watching the lights go out one by one. Her reflection in the windshield looked hollow, a ghost staring at her own empire. A single notification blinked on her phone. "Transfer successful, 0.021 BTC. She frowned. She had never opened a crypto wallet, but someone had used her name. In the weeks that followed, Amara vanished. The media moved on. Rami expanded operations. Zion replaced her as coup, and her father boasted of restructuring. But somewhere in an old apartment on the city's outskirts, Amara rebuilt. She studied blockchain, cyber audits, and asset tracing. She spent her nights in the glow of multiple monitors, tracing every fake invoice, every crypto wallet tied to Rami's shell companies, and then she found it. A hidden network of wallets connecting back to her family trust. They hadn't just betrayed her. They'd used her as a scapegoat to launder millions. A slow smile spread across her face. "This time," she whispered, "I'll play their game better." For most people, vanishing means losing everything. For Amara, it meant freedom. She moved through the city like static in the air, unseen, unnoticed. Her old life had collapsed in headlines, but her new one was born in silence. She learned what her father never did, that power isn't inherited, it's constructed. By day, she freelanced under aliases, data auditing, crypto tracing for private clients who paid in. By night, she infiltrated networks Rami had built, the same ones that had framed her. Every wallet, every contract, every timestamp. She memorized patterns like scars. The first breakthrough came in the form of a minor wallet tied to Astrotrade Holdings, registered in the Caymans, active for only 40 days, yet moving millions in quiet transfers. Buried within the metadata, her brother's initials. She stared at the screen, numb. Zion wasn't just complicit, he was the one moving the money. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. For the first time in months, her hands didn't shake. "Let's begin," she murmured. Amara built a decoy company, Novatrace Analytics, a digital forensics startup that specialized in tracking financial leaks. Its website looked legitimate. Its board members, AI-generated faces. Its portfolio, pure fiction. And yet, within weeks, Rami's firm reached out for consultancy. Desperation attracts precision. They wanted help auditing an internal breach. The irony was delicious. Through encrypted access, Amara slipped into their financial network disguised as the very analyst hired to protect it. She downloaded ledgers, crypto bridge histories, confidential tax filings, every hidden fracture in their empire. Then, one night, she stumbled on something else. A document marked Talbot Trust, a shell entity linking back to her father's name. The betrayal wasn't just corporate, it was blood deep. She leaned back in her chair, eyes burning from the monitor's light. In the background, her kettle clicked off, echoing like a gunshot in the quiet apartment. The next morning, she sent an anonymous report to the Tribune, one of the country's top financial papers. It contained detailed proof of Rami's crypto laundering and Zion's fake contracts. The story broke within 48 hours. The market imploded. Rami's firm froze. Zion was questioned under fraud allegations. Her father, however, he made a televised statement, calm, remorseful. He called it a mistake of oversight. He offered to cooperate with authorities. He was protecting Zion. Again. Amara watched from her apartment, the flicker of the TV reflecting in her eyes. Her father's words twisted something inside her. "I built everything for you," she whispered, "and you built my grave." As the investigation spread, Amara felt an unexpected void inside her. Not victory, but a hollow kind of grief. Revenge didn't bring closure. It only widened the space where love used to live. At 3 a.m., she scrolled through old photos. Her father smiling beside her at the company's 10-year celebration, Zion teasing her for working late. It all looked real back then. Maybe it was, but she knew something now that they never would. Money doesn't destroy people. It simply reveals what they already were. Outside, thunder rolled over the skyline. Her monitors flickered, as if the city itself was holding its breath. She closed her laptop. Tomorrow, she'd finish what she started. She vanished without a trace, until the men who betrayed her started falling one by one. By the end of that week, the world knew their names. The tabloids called it the Talbot implosion. Screens across trading floors glowed with the headline, "Family Empire Under Fire, Insider Blows Whistle." Rami's phone never stopped ringing. Investors wanted answers. Clients wanted blood. And Zion, the golden son, had gone silent. Amara didn't need to watch. She knew how panic looked. She'd seen it before in the mirror, months ago. Rami was forced to step down pending investigation. His father pleaded temporary illness. The board suspended trading. Every move was desperate, performative, an empire crumbling under its own perfection. Amara sat in a small cafe across from their main office tower. Rain streaked down the glass. The building looked sterile, ghostly, almost unrecognizable. She sipped her coffee, listening to the faint hum of news anchors, talking about financial mismanagement, but they didn't know the truth. They didn't know that the whistleblower they quoted lived 2 blocks away, watching everything unfold with quiet vengeance. And yet, as the hours passed, a strange sadness crept in. She thought revenge would taste like freedom. Instead, it tasted like ash. 3 days later, her father arrived. No cameras, no press. Just him in the rain, older than she remembered, holding a newspaper folded under his arm. Amara didn't open the door at first, but when she did, silence filled the hallway like fog. He stepped inside, eyes bloodshot, voice low. "Was it you?" Amara didn't answer. He sighed, the same way he did when she was a child caught in a lie. "Do you think you've won?" he asked. "You think burning everything down makes you right?" Her reply was steady. "I didn't burn anything, Father. I just stopped pretending it wasn't already on fire." He stared at her, shocked by how calm she sounded. Then, softer, almost pleading, "I was protecting him. Zion wasn't ready." Amara laughed, bitter and quiet. "You weren't protecting him. You were protecting your legacy." His hands trembled. "That company was my life. And I was supposed to inherit it," she interrupted, eyes cold. "But when it suited you, you made me the villain. You chose the liar over the loyal." For a long time, neither spoke. The rain kept falling. When he finally left, he didn't look back. That night, Amara opened her private drive. Inside was every document, every transfer, every message, the whole truth of what they'd done. She had enough evidence to destroy them completely, but something in her paused. She realized what she had become, a mirror image of the men she despised, efficient, cold, ruthless, powerful, and alone. She hovered over the send button on her final report, and then she stopped. Instead, she redirected all remaining crypto funds from her father's offshore wallets, not to herself, but to a series of anonymous donations funding women-owned startups worldwide. Her final transfer note read simply, "From a daughter who learned too late." The next morning, the Tribune ran a new story. Whistleblower funds used to empower women entrepreneurs. The internet called it poetic justice. The world saw her as a phantom hero, but Amara didn't care. She deleted every trace of her alias, packed a single suitcase, and disappeared once more, not as a fugitive, but as someone finally free of currency and blood. She took the bus to a small coastal town where no one knew her name. There, she started a consulting firm for cybersecurity, quietly helping others avoid the traps she once fell into. And sometimes, when she saw news of Rami's collapse or Zion's arrest, she'd close her laptop and look out to the horizon. In the silence between waves, she almost heard her father's voice again, not with anger, but regret. She destroyed their empire without touching a single dollar. Her revenge was pure strategy. Months passed. The Talbot name vanished from corporate headlines, replaced by newer scandals and fresher faces. But online, on dark forums, crypto and anonymous blogs, a single name whispered through the code. The architect. No one knew who she was. Some claimed she'd been an insider turned whistleblower. Others believed she was a myth, a ghost created by those who'd lost everything to greed. But Amara knew better. Legends weren't born from victory. They were born from the wounds left behind. In her new life, Amara lived quietly by the sea. Her days were simple: a small rented house, a flickering laptop, the smell of salt and rain. She built digital walls around her new clients, shielding them from the same kind of betrayal that had once consumed her. Sometimes, she'd receive messages from women who'd read the viral story of the architect, thanking her for the courage to leave toxic marriages, exploitative jobs, manipulative families. She never replied, but she read every word. The world believed she'd outsmarted the system. But Amara knew the truth. She hadn't beaten greed. She'd just redirected it. One evening, a letter arrived. Handwritten, no return address. The handwriting was unmistakable, sharp, deliberate. Her father's. She unfolded it carefully. "Amara, I saw what you did. I won't ask for forgiveness. But I hope you understand, power doesn't change people. It reveals them. You became everything I hoped you'd be, and everything I feared. Take care of what's left of your soul." Her hands trembled slightly. For the first time in months, tears fell, not for what she'd lost, but for what she'd become. That night, she stood before the mirror. Her reflection was almost unrecognizable, older, colder, sharper. The woman who once believed in loyalty and legacy was gone. In her place stood something forged from betrayal and fire, precise, disciplined, unstoppable. She thought of Zion, her brother now on trial for financial crimes. She thought of her father alone in the mansion he once ruled like a kingdom. And then she thought of herself, the ghost of their empire, haunting it from afar. A line echoed in her mind, one she had once read in an old journal. Revenge doesn't end pain, it refines it. She whispered it aloud, almost to herself. At dawn, she walked to the shore. The horizon glowed faintly gold. She stood still, letting the wind cut across her face, the kind of cold that wakes you, not punishes you. She realized she no longer wanted to destroy or prove anything. Her silence had become her victory, her distance, her peace. As she turned away, the tide washed over her footprints, erasing the last trace of who she'd been. The sea carried them away, one by one. The camera would pull back, wide shot, drone height. Amara walking along the endless coast, a single figure swallowed by the morning fog. The narration fades, soft but resolute. They tried to ruin her, but she built something stronger than wealth. She built herself. They took everything from her, until she used their own greed to win.